Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In case you are new here, my name is Benjamin Owecho Ada. In today's video, I'll be starting with some questions to us. And the first question is, how many of us know our numbers? In knowing our numbers, I'm not talking about our account detail numbers. I'm not talking about the numbers in our digits in our account in terms of the money we have in there. No, I'm talking about the numbers that has to do with our health. Blood pressure number, cholesterol number, blood sugar number. How many of us know those numbers? That's a question we need to ask ourselves, because those are the numbers that actually are responsible for our lives. But unfortunately, most of us don't care about those numbers and we don't know anything about those numbers. And secondly, how many of us, when we hear or feel something in our bodies, act immediately? How many of us? And unfortunately, those are things also responsible for our lives. Now, it might interest you to know that most of us have vehicles or have one mobility item or the other that takes us from one point to the other. But the moment we hear any sound in such means of transportation, the next thing we do is call our mechanics or we take them for repair. But when it comes to our bodies, we don't do anything about such things, which is so unfortunate. Now, we know when to take our cars for servicing, yes. We know when to go for the MOT. We know when to go for anything that has to do with the car, when to pay for insurance, when to pay the road tax. We know all about this. But when it comes to our health, we know absolutely nothing about. I have a simple policy, which is found out a cause of a disease and you are safe. But if you let those diseases find you out, then you are gone. Most times we allow those diseases to find us out, and when they do find us out, at that point it's already too late for anything to be done. That time is the doctors most times do trial and error to see how they can salvage the situation, and in worst case scenarios, those trials and errors doesn't work and the person passes. I will be talking about two major incidences in my life, one positive, one negative, in terms of what I'm talking about now, knowing our numbers and having indicators, our body indicating that something is wrong and we don't do anything about. The first one I'll be talking about today has to do with me personally. This was, do I call it negligence on my part, or I just felt nothing was really happening to me at that point. But unfortunately, something was going wrong. But thanks to my wife and to our personal doctor, we were able to salvage that. How did that happen? I don't know how it started. I tend to ask my wife later on in our marriage that when did this happen? When did she really notice this in me? And she was like, she came into my home meeting me in this condition. And what was it? On my right foot, on the big toe, I have a sore there. How that sore came about, I don't really know. It's just a tiny sore on the tip of the right toe that doesn't really get healed. I don't know when it happened. I don't know how it happened. I don't know whether it was during my football playing days, because I was actually playing professional football then, football. So I don't know if it was that period that I sustained that injury on the tip of my toe. I just can't really place it. Now, she said she met me with that injury on my toe. It's just small there, not too big, just small, just like a round small spot on the tip of the toe. But the sore doesn't get healed. Year in, year out. Now, I continue managing this, using plasters, using cotton wool, dressings and all that all the time. So it was lingering. I didn't bother. It didn't really expand from how it was. It didn't really grow too much and all that. I left this thing hanging. For so many years, I got married in 2008. Now, this went on till I think 2020. That was when my wife became so bothered about it. And she said, look, this sore that is on your toe, I'm not comfortable about it. Please, can we do something quick? Because this thing is not healing. And from what I'm saying, if you don't seek medical advice, I don't know what will happen later on, but I think you need to seek medical advice. Now, after saying that, I gave it a thought, and I called our family doctor and I said, please, I want to have a time out with you. When can I see you? He was like, okay, can you come to the hospital on a particular day and have it looked at and have it checked? And I accepted. I went on that appointment. That particular day, I met him. He examined the sore there, and he said, sir, I think we need to do something about this, because if it has stayed this long, then I think there's an issue behind it that we can't really see. But I will advise that when the consultant comes, you see him, and once you see him, from there we can take it up. And I agreed with him, and he booked another appointment for me with the consultant. And when the consultant came and I showed him the toe, he examined it and was like, I think you need to undergo a surgery. When you undergo the surgery and the specimen is taken to the lab for biopsy, probably we can really know what actually is the problem. And I said, how or when do we do the surgery? He said, I advise that this surgery is done urgently. Like, can we do it now? He was like, are you ready? I said, yes, I'm ready for that. He gave me the bill, and immediately he called, when it is a private hospital, it's easier. You don't need to wait for a long time to get those things done. Immediately he called all those who are supposed to be involved in the surgery and said, prepare the theater, we need to do a surgery right now and all that. My wife got to know about this when I was already in the theater. The doctor had to call her and said, look, your husband is in the theater, he has been waiting to the theater for the surgery. Long story short, the surgery was done, everything was okay, I was all right. Now the specimen was sent to the lab at the teaching hospital for the biopsy to be done, for us to know if everything is all right or if there's an issue. After about close to a week, at that point, even the dressing on my leg has, or the surgery is already healing. I got a call from my doctor and said, are you at home? I said, yes. All right, so I'll be coming to see you. So when he came, from his countenance, I knew something was wrong. And I was like, I have a news for you, and this news might not be too good. But I want you to stay strong. And when we put heads together, we can find a way out. And my wife looked at me and looked at the doctor, and was like, doctor, go ahead, what's the problem? And he said, the results of the biopsy is not too good. I wouldn't want to mention what was the problem. If you want to know, I'll talk about it. If you want to know, just put it in the comment section. And he said, something is wrong. And the earlier we get this thing treated, the better for you. And when he told me that, you could see the shock, you could see the pain in both myself and my wife's faces, and the doctor took all his time to comfort me and calm me down and say, don't worry, sir, this is not the end. We'll find a way out of this situation. The important thing is you were able to do the surgery on time to discover this. If you had left it for a while longer, we don't know what the outcome might be. But for the fact that you've gone through this right now and it's like this, then we have a solution to this issue. And I said, where do we go from here? I said, the consultant has booked another appointment with you the day after tomorrow. When you come, you see him, he will now tell you what next to do. So on the 5th day of the appointment, I went back to see the consultant, and he said, okay, has the junior doctor told you everything that happened? And I said, yes. And I said, what's the next line of action? Now said, we need to go deeper. Yeah, we need to take you back to the theater. We need to go deeper. And going deeper, we hope that we'll be able to take care of the situation before it goes further. And there and then again, I told him, Doc, let's do it. And that was how we went back into the theater. And they did a second surgery on me, took the specimen again back to the lab and did another biopsy. You know how it is that period. I wasn't myself. Everybody was on edge. We were just praying, believing and trusting God and asking for a miracle. So many thoughts in our minds, you know. My wife was a pillar of strength for me at that point. She would always come and hold my hand and say, look, sweet, don't worry. We are going to go through this together. We're going to pull through. You're going to be fine. You're going to be all right. You're going to pull through this. So don't let this thing be a bother. Don't let this thing worry you. I know how bad you are right now. I know how shaking you are with all the incidents and all the episodes, but just calm down. We'll pull through this together. Trust me. God is on our side. Now, I think what the consultant does is, before I come to that, I was at home, I think on the fortnight after the second surgery, and I got a call from the consultant himself. And when I saw the call, just put yourself in my position, how will you feel? When I got the call, it was like a decider. Doomed or saved. And I just took the call, went into the room quietly, no one was there, and I answered the call and I said, good evening, Doc. It's like, good evening, architect. How are you today? I was like, I'm all right. I just like cut all this, just cut everything and just go straight to the ball. What's the outcome? And he was like, congratulations. Everything is clean now. I was like, what did he just say? He said, congratulations. Everything is clean. You are safe. Oh no. I jumped and screamed, and my wife and kids all ran into the room and was like, Daddy, what's the problem? What is it? And I said, doctor just called now, and this is the outcome of the test results and everything. And that night was one of the best nights of my life. We knelt down, we thanked God, we prayed and appreciated God for everything, and we held hands, we cried together, we laughed together, the family was happy, and that was how that situation was taken care of. Why? Because we acted immediately, we knew there were dangers along the line, and that was how God saved us, and today, by His grace, I'm healthy, hale and hearty. That's part of the two incidents I'm talking about. That's my own, that's the positive part now. Now, the negative part of it was a close friend that, do I say, had similar situations with mine, and did not take it too serious. The outcome wasn't good. Now, how did that happen? The friend of mine called me some time ago, that was a couple of years ago now, and he said, come on, Ben, I discovered this swelling on this part of my body, and I don't know what it is. So I was like, well, does it present with any form of pain or anything? He said, no, it's just a swelling that he just discovered there, but it doesn't present with anything, but he doesn't know how the swelling come all about. And I said, okay, please, such things shouldn't be joked with. If you have discovered this, which is not part of your body before, why don't you come down so that we have a look at it together, and I take you to my doctor and let him have an examination. And always, good or bad, when the examination is done, you'll be able to know what it is. If it is something that needs to be handled immediately, it can be handled. If it's something that doesn't need anything, that's just medications, then you just do it and it's gone. He sent me the pictures on my WhatsApp, and I forwarded it to my doctor. And my doctor looked and said, okay, just invite him over so that let me do a physical examination and to be sure that sometimes some kind of viral infections present with such swellings and all that, but we shouldn't just overrule it. Let's do the proper thing so that everybody will be safe. And that was it. He never showed up. He never said anything again, and life went on. Now, until about between 9 and 11 months later, he now called me and said, look, this thing is getting out of hand. I said, what did you just say? He said, the swelling has actually increased and it's now presenting a lot of pains and everything. And at that point now, it's already so swollen. And I said, all the same, still come over, let's see my doc and let's discuss about it. And he came over eventually. When I looked at him, I was like, come on, man, what did you do to yourself? What happened? I told you to come all these months ago, and when you sent me those initial pictures and you didn't show up, why? Why did you allow this to come to this level? It was like a lot of things happened, work, everything, just, long story short, there wasn't enough time to do that. No time? This is your health you're talking about. And I took him to see the doctor. When he looked at it, he was like, okay, let me call the consultant, let him come along. Because of my relationship with the consultant, he left where he was and came over to the clinic and sat with the friend and examined him thoroughly. And after the examination, was like, so what have you done about this? He said, yes, he has gone to this hospital, they've gone to some stage in this and all that. So the man just told him, well, continue with that, because if I take you to another facility, we'll start the process all over again. But this time around, just go back to the clinic where you're doing your treatments and let them continue with that. Sorry, I'm becoming a little bit emotional talking about this part. Now, when he left, the consultant called me back in confidence and said, how close am I with this person? I said, yes, we are very close, in fact, very extremely close. And he said, let me just tell you the truth about this. When did this thing happen? And I told him when he actually presented the first case to me, he was like, why did he not come over? And I said, he said he was busy. He was busy for his own health, busy for his life. And I said, Doc, is it that bad? He said, yes, it's that bad. I said, what is it? And I told me, this friend of yours has this kind of cancer. And when he told about it several months ago, at that point, it has not attached itself to the body. It's just like a growth which would have been handled, medications or somehow it would have been handled at that stage and everything would have been normal. But he allowed it to progress from that stage of being just a growth to become cancerous cells. And right now they've attached themselves to him and it has advanced. There's nothing else they can do about the situation. And that's why I told him, continue from where you have stopped. Because if I start all over again, I'm dragging him back. So let him just continue with the stage where he is right now. And let's just hope for what will happen. When I got that news, I was totally broken. I was totally down completely for a couple of days and months. And I will always call and say, what's happening? How are they going? Yeah, long story short, he did a lot of treatments, went through surgeries, did a lot of therapy, chemo, and everything. But that couldn't save the situation. I know how expensive such treatments were. After taking all his wealth and everything away, he still passed. Now, why am I bringing these stories in? I'm bringing these stories in because most times we take our health for granted, and this is our lifeline. If we can take care of our vehicles when we find out any fault in them immediately, why not the body that gives us our vitality? Why not the body that gives us our health? Why not the body that gives us the life we live, that carries our life in it? Why don't we take care of that body? Why do we procrastinate or delay such treatments and hope that at the end of the day, the signs and symptoms will just go? Yeah, sometimes they will present themselves without any form of pain or any form of inconveniences, but that doesn't mean that behind the scene something is not happening. I brought these two stories out because I want us to learn from this and make amends. Please try and check your numbers all the time. Your blood pressure number, your blood sugar number, your cholesterol number, whatever numbers you need to check, please check those numbers very, very well. Here in the part of the world where I live, which is the United Kingdom, we are fortunate in the sense that every year the NHS sends us reminders for yearly medical checks, and that is done every year. Particularly, they try to make it on your birthdays. On your birthday, they send you that reminder and say, "Look, your test, your physical checks, and everything is due. So contact your GP and get this done." But back home in Africa, we don't have such liberty, such privileges, and it is on us to find out all these things by ourselves. Now, please, in the midst of your being busy, find time to check your health. Find time to find out what your numbers are. And if the numbers are not good, you can take treatments, they can be amended, you can be all right. But if you let those numbers find you out, unfortunately, this can be too late. So please, I want to encourage us today, in all we are doing, take care of your health, because your health is the primary thing you have to watch out for. Not the health of your car, not the health of your bike, not the health of your mobilities, but the health of yourself. In doing that, your family is safe, your family is healthy, and you can think of other things to do. And I hope today's video has blessed you, has helped you. If it has, please, if you have not done that already, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, share, and turn on that notification button so that when next I post another video like this, you'll be the first to be notified. Thank you for listening and watching this video. Once again, my name remains Benjamin Owecho Ada. Bye.